Natasha Winton, Commissioner Winton, resigned from THEC recently. She has been appointed to the governing board of her alma mater, TSU. So super happy for Natasha, super happy for TSU, really sad for THEC. So we will be figuring out who will also be joining our committee as we move forward. We will start with, we're still waiting for Whitney Allman, I believe, is on the phone. And then I think AC Wharton will be joining us as well, but we'll start with roll call. And for those of you joining virtually, even if it's Whitney as well, right?
Mayor Wharton's coming on now.
Oh, he is, okay. If you can just state whether you're in a room, whether other people are in the room with you, and start with Madam Secretary. Could you call the roll, please?
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Yeah.
Commissioner Wharton?
Present, I'm in the room alone.
Secretary Hargett?
Here amongst many friends.
Commissioner Morrison?
Here likewise.
Chairwoman, you have 3 voting members present.
Excellent, thank you so much. We will first adopt the agenda. I'll entertain a motion and a second to adopt the agenda for today's meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it. With no objection, we'll take a roll call vote.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is public comment. Dr. Gentile, do we have any requests for public comment?
No, Chairwoman, we do not have a request for public comment. We do have Commissioner Allman, who is going to be streaming in today, and not as official committee member, but she is here as a role for commissioner. No vote.
Well, then with no questions or objections, I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the minutes for our January 24th committee meeting.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
I was about
So I
to.
can't be any help, you know. I'm not a voting member, so.
I was about to
Y'all are
accept the
on.
motion unless I wasn't chairing.
Okay, Madam Secretary, would you please call it?
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? You have 3 ayes.
Well, with that, we'll move on to the regular calendar. The first item on our agenda is the post-secondary education authorization. And there's 2 parts to this agenda item, and without objection, we'll vote on them as a set. Dr. Stephanie Bellard-Chase, Senior Director of Post-Secondary State Authorization, will provide an overview of the post-secondary education authorization, and then answer any questions. Dr. Bellard-Chase, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chairwoman Scarlett, members of the committee, Dr. Gentile, good morning. As the Chairwoman said, there's 2 items for your consideration today. There's 3 regularly authorized institutions in CC1A and 2 institutions for optional expedited authorization in CC1B. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Secretary, do you have any questions?
I don't.
I also do not. Commissioner Wharton, do you have any questions by chance?
Is this on the new institutions?
Yeah, so this is on, if you have your binder, it's CC1A, it's on the post-secondary state authorization, and CC1B, which is on the same thing. One is for new. Okay, so there's new institutions and also expedited authorization.
No questions.
Well then, I will entertain a motion and a second on these 2 items.
It's all you. I can't vote.
I move approval.
I'll second that.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Miller. Thank you, appreciate it. Next on the agenda, we have off-campus centers. There are 5 parts to this agenda item. Without objection, we'll vote on them as a set. Dr. Julie Roberts, Chief Academic Officer, will provide an overview, and then we'll answer any questions. Dr. Roberts.
Thank you. Good morning. So as Chairman Scarlett mentioned, we have 5 off-campus centers for your consideration today. As a quick reminder, THEC approves any location where a campus offers instruction outside of the main campus. However, only those where a student complete a credential come before the commission for approval. So I'm just going to quickly give an overview of each of the centers, but happy to answer any questions if you have them. So first, UT Martin is proposing a center in Springfield, and it's a partnership with Vol State at the Highland Crest Center. Students will be able to complete 4 degrees from UT Martin, 1 in agricultural business at the bachelor's level, an interdisciplinary studies program also at the bachelor's level, and then 2 master's programs, 1 in agriculture and natural resources, and the other in business administration. They will be offering classes on ground at the center, but will also be providing some online and hybrid courses. Our next 2 centers are both at UT Health Science Center, 1 in Knoxville and 1 in Nashville. These locations, students will be able to complete a PharmD degree. This was previously a clinical site, which doesn't need authorization based on our policies. But for the convenience of the students, they started offering classes, and now students, while they're doing their clinical rotations, can also complete the full degree. Just as a note, the instruction is delivered synchronously to all of the campuses, including Memphis. So students in Knoxville, Nashville, and Memphis are all taking their classes together online, and the instruction comes from the faculty at each of the locations. So, the next one is actually a TCAT. So we have the TCAT Chattanooga is looking for an off-campus code at the Hamilton County Jail Center. They will be offering cosmetology programs to the inmates at the jail. If it's successful, they will expand to some other programs. We don't usually see TCATs for approval. Because TCAT Chattanooga is accredited through SAC-COC, there actually is a carve-out in our policy that they have to go through this specific policy. So we don't usually see TCATs, but just want to give you a little context there. And then lastly, Austin P is asking for a center code at the Innovation Academy Center. This is a partnership with Robertson County Schools, and they will be offering the University Studies Associate's degree for those students there. So those are our 5 center requests. Any questions that you have?
Commissioner Wharton, do you have any questions?
You cleared up when Dr. Gentile was briefing me. I had a question about, but you cleared my question up. These are virtual. It'll be offered virtually. We're not going to have folks trying to move around. I just didn't pick that up in the materials that I was reviewing. So I have no questions. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, and Mayor Wharton, many thanks to Dr. Russell at Health Science Center. She sent me some details, so just conveyed the questions about who would be teaching at these off-campus sites for the PharmD program specifically. So we've got lots of extra information if you want it. I can send you.
No, that's fine. And I was a bit concerned because past decades, the various accrediting authorities, when we tried to extend and offer courses on new sites, there was some concern that we might water down the quality, but your answer cleared that up. These are the same professors that the students here physically on campus will be getting. That cleared it up. Thank you.
Just a quick question about item E with Austin P and the partnership that you mentioned with Robertson County. You said it's an associate's degree that those students would be offered. Do you know any more about the funding model? Is that part of the redesigning high school grants that the Department of Education is giving, or how's that working? And is it in their high school? I assume it's just like their 1 or 2 high schools.
I'll have to check on that specific part with the funding from is it the Innovative High School?
DOE is giving different grants.
I do know that the way that it's structured is students are going to be able to do dual enrollment. And so the reason why they're doing the center code is because if they can't, they likely won't be able to finish the entire associate's degree while they're doing dual enrollment in high school, but they'll be offering the remaining classes over the summer so students can finish.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I can check on the
Is it like this Austin P?
I
With
don't-
Austin P?
We don't have anyone from Austin P here.
No. Oh, that's true.
I'm sorry, was
Do
that
they
your
have
question?
that kind of a partnership with any other districts, or is it just Robertson County? currently?
They do. I can definitely we have all of this documented. I just didn't have it prepared.
Just interested.
I'm
That sounds
happy
like
to-
a little different middle college model than
Yeah, because it's not actually middle college because they can't finish the entire credential, which I guess isn't always middle college, but
Yeah, it's sort of middle college-like.
yeah, but I'm happy to get some additional information for you.
So I have a comment, which I shared with you all when we were on the phone. These are 5 different programs that currently exist. They're not changing when they go to the new location, that don't cost the universities or the state any additional funds. And I believe that it's legislatively required that we have to approve these. I don't really understand fully why, and I just wonder, maybe there's perspective in the audience, is this an opportunity for us to streamline programs?
Yeah, I think, and I'm actually probably going to defer to Scott because we've talked about this a lot, and so if you don't mind, Scott.
Madam Chair, the statute currently requires any physical location that is new come before this commission. We've discussed, several options, including whether we need to be in that business to the degree that we're in, whether that could be delegated to the executive director to move in a more timely manner. There are several options that we could investigate. We've had ongoing conversations about that. Any change would require legislation, though, to our duties.
Okay. Well, can I ask a question? Scott, Stephen, you may have sights on this, or maybe somebody else in the room might. Do we know historically why that was given to THEC?
I think that it is probably older than several of the people in this room. My understanding, late 60s, early 70s is the genesis of that, and it's one of those things that the higher education environment is far different than it was. So this was at some point perhaps a control on costs and expansion into maybe other campuses' geography.
I think the second piece is what I would think is the issue, is that, if you're not careful, and maybe it shouldn't matter, maybe this is just the world we live in right now. You have University of Tennessee Martin, you have a Springfield Center. Is that planting the flag, University of Tennessee Martin, and now all of a sudden Austin Peay, that not far away might have thought that they'd like to have a Springfield Center too. And then TSU and MTSU, I mean, if we take that away from this body, is that the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? I don't know. I think it is a good conversation for the legislature to have, because I think at some point, everybody is going to want to go to a growing area and plant their flag quickly. Maybe not successfully in the beginning, but just to be able to go ahead and say, this is mine. So I know we run into that a lot of times with community colleges in the past, where there was this. There was no official map of it somewhere, but it was kind of understood that these are our counties, and you don't go plant your flag in our counties. And then we've had some of that's happened in recent years, and maybe that's the way it ought to be. I don't know, but I'm sure that'll be a great conversation in the legislature.
So I'll just add to that from my perspective as staff here, having some oversight or check, or at least question asking as part of our process is necessary, whether it's something that's ultimately delegated to staff or taken away. For that exact example, UT Martin Springfield Center, when I first saw this, that was my first question. What about Austin Peay? It's right down the road from there. What's the thinking there? To know that Austin Peay was there, I believe, and now they're no longer, and so UT Martin came in.
Well, that's a helpful piece of the puzzle to know too.
Yeah, like knowing the dynamics back there. Those are questions that we're asking internally as we come across them. And should this continue going forward on the agendas, we'll be more. We'll point out those questions that we're asking internally as part of our voting.
Yeah, and I would say I think we just as another piece of it, we do catalog all of the off-campus sites, and so that does help us. So I wouldn't just to let you know that we can then run different reports on where instruction's happening and that kind of thing. So.
Well, so let me piggyback what Dr. Gentile was talking about a second ago. Do we have the catalog? Do we have a list of all of those that have opened and closed in the last 10 years?
We do. I think that we're actually, this is a little in the weeds, but we're doing a whole pretty big overhaul of how we're collecting that information from our campuses, so we'll be able to do it much quicker, much like we did the API a while ago. So we're doing a pretty big data cleanup, so I can have a much more accurate list to you in a couple of months probably, but we do.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'll say quickly, and that's part of an overall strategy. I want to thank Jason Kavanagh and his team on software development. We've had some old legacy programs that we've been working with that go back to the 90s, if not beforehand. And part of that cleanup is to make sure that we can be quicker and that campuses have easier access to change that.
I think I'm done.
And I'm looking for a motion in a second. How about this time? I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay. Madam Secretary.
Chairwoman Scarlett,
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton,
Aye.
Secretary Hargett.
Uh,
You have 3 ayes.
And next time we'll get Commissioner Ward.
I will say this, Mr. Secretary, I do share the same questions you had, and I just think it is worthy of more study. So we want access, but I want to make sure we're not watering down quality and we're not getting into this race to plant a flag on every vacant lot. But I approve it.
yeah, this is not the race to the moon.
Next up, we'll talk about new academic programs. We have 8 to review. And I'm not going to list off all the names. You'll be able to see these in a second. But we will have Julie Roberts remain up and listen to a brief from her on the academic program approval process, as well as answer any questions. And then Dr. Brackett, Senior Director of Academic Affairs, will provide an overview of their programs and introduce speakers from the institutions. Dr. Roberts, you recommend.
Thank you so much. As Chairwoman Scarlett just mentioned, Dr. Brackett will follow with an overview of, she will say all the names of all the programs. But I did just want to give a very quick update on where we are with some of our program timelines and discuss a couple of the timelines with programs today. So as you may have noticed, of the programs under consideration today, half have gone through the process in approximately 9 months, which we're proud of. That's a definite shortening of the timeline. These programs were submitted more recently than the other programs and demonstrate that the policy, process, and relational changes made to program approval in the last couple of years have reduced the time to approval. Additionally, these programs did not utilize the newly approved checklist from the January meeting, which we are hopeful will allow even quicker approval in the future. I did want to discuss quickly some of the challenges that have delayed some of our other programs under consideration today. There have been several delays waiting for revisions from campuses, as can be expected with faculty authors working on an academic calendar, typically with multiple responsibilities, which include teaching, accreditation visits, as well as advising and many other responsibilities. For one of our programs, a pandemic interfered, and there are also times when campuses pause programs due to a shift in priorities and sometimes staffing changes as well. Looking forward, we will be shifting all new proposals to the revised process starting this summer and anticipate, as I said earlier, even shorter approval times. We did give campuses the option to pilot the new checklist over the spring semester, but understandably, many chose to continue with the current process, given that many of the submissions were already drafted and underway. We will be offering training in the upcoming months for our campus liaisons and faculty to ensure instructions are clear prior to the official launch of the new process. But also just want to thank our campus partners too. We had a lot of programs through the process here in the last couple of months. So, but I'll pause if you have any questions about that, and if not, I'll ask Dr. Brackett to come up.
Any questions, Mayor Warden?
I'm sorry.
Any questions?
No question, no.
Good morning, Commissioners. Our campuses have 8 programs for your consideration today. 5 Bachelor of Science programs, 2 Master's programs, and 1 doctoral program. East Tennessee State University will be presenting a proposed Master of Music program in the College of Arts and Sciences. Here to present for ETSU is Dr. Kimberly McCorkle, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Tennessee State University will present two programs today. The first is a Master of Science in Business Data Analytics proposed by the College of Business. Interim Dean of the College of Business, Dr. Stevens Shanklin, will be presenting this program. TSU is also proposing a Doctor of Philosophy in Public Health, offered by the College of Health Sciences, and this program will be presented by Dr. Ronald Barreto, Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Tennessee Technological University is proposing a Bachelor of Science in Nuclear Engineering in the College of Engineering, and Dr. Lori Bruce, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, will be presenting on behalf of TTU. The University of Tennessee Knoxville will present 4 bachelor's programs. 3 of those programs, a Bachelor of Science in Data Science, a Bachelor of Science in Applied Artificial Intelligence, and a Bachelor of Science in Innovative Transdisciplinary Studies, are being proposed by the new College of Emerging and Collaborative Studies. The Tickle College of Engineering is also proposing a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering. All 4 of these programs will be presented today by Dr. John Zomchik, Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor at UTK. I do want to point out that there is a small transcription error in your agenda item under the financial projections form for the Applied AI program. It's on page 5. There's an additional $715 under the accreditation section that are there in error. I apologize for that mistake. And again, thank you to all of our campus partners for all of your hard work in getting these 8 programs here.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to join you all and to be the first provost to present this morning in front of my other colleagues, so I will try to be brief. Chair Scarlett, members of the committee, thank you so much for the opportunity to present. I also want to thank Director Gentile and the leadership of THEC, who have been really helpful throughout this process and helping us get to the finish line. I am joined today by my colleagues from ETSU, including Dr. Joe Bidwell, who is the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and also by Dr. Alan Stevens, who is our chair of our Department of Music, present with me, as well as our Associate Provost for Curriculum, Dr. Bill Flora. It is indeed a pleasure to be here to present this program. We have been planning this program very thoughtfully and deliberately for many years. So I think when Dr. Roberts made reference to a program that's been in the works since pre-COVID, I think that was us. Because our faculty started thinking about this program in the fall of 2019. We recognized that we needed a master's degree to add to our strong music programs, and I'll share more about that. But as this program was under preparation and development, we were all impacted by the pandemic, and so that shifted our focus a bit, slowed us down a bit. And also, after the pandemic occurred, we were undergoing a visit by SAC-COC, our reaccreditation last spring, as well as an upcoming reaccreditation visit by NASM, which is the National Association for Schools of Music, which accredits all of our music programs, and they came to visit us in the fall. So there were a lot of factors that delayed us, and this in no way was a delay by the commission or by THEC in any way. We were very deliberative. We're hoping to be able to launch this program for fall of '24. So thank you for the opportunity to present a bit about the program. Our proposed master's program will be a 32 to 36 credit hour program. And the reason for the variation in the credits is that there are several concentrations available for students depending on their interests. And so this program is designed to be flexible to allow students to pursue a variety of professional careers, including, as you can see, music performers, composers. For students who want to go on to a doctoral degree, this is also a good option. But perhaps the option that I think is the most exciting is the option for music educators to continue their opportunity for professional growth and development. And if you notice in the materials that you received, there are a lot of our local school districts who have expressed interest in this program. Many of our local educators have said that this program will help build their credential in the workforce. And that particular concentration, I want to point out, will allow music educators to take many of their coursework online and also in the summers. So it will certainly fit their career paths. As I mentioned, this past year, our Department of Music received their accreditation visit by the National Association of Schools of Music. While they were on our campus in the fall semester, they reviewed the projected proposal for the Master of Music degree program.
and they commented that they were supportive and they believed that this program would also receive full accreditation if it were approved by this board because of the strength of our existing programs that we have at the bachelor's level. So I am excited to say that the plan for this program is that it will also be accredited by NASM, which certainly is important in the industry. As I mentioned, this program offers students an opportunity to advance their education in an area that is important for the state, and that is music and employment across the music industry. As you all know, we're home to one of the largest music industries in the country. You'll note that the projected enrollment is relatively modest but steady. We already have several students who are excited about the opportunity to begin this program in the fall if it is approved, and we hope to build the enrollment in the master's program slowly over the next 5 years. The program is aligned with both our university and state mission, and I will point out that, for a couple of those, the graduate programs support the goals of the state master plan by increasing employability of graduates, establishing further advancement for educational credentialing for residents in the state. There is currently not an opportunity in our region in Northeast Tennessee for public and private educators to advance their academic training in the music discipline. And as mentioned a moment ago, this master's degree will provide that opportunity for those local educators. There is a projection by the Bureau of Labor Statistics that there will continue to be employment growth in this field, and that's both in the region and the state as well as in the nation. I'll also point out that last bullet that currently 20% of our undergraduates in our music programs want to extend their undergraduate education to graduate work. And so when we have surveyed our existing students, many of them have expressed an interest in an opportunity like this. It also is squarely aligned with our university mission, and our music department over the last couple of years has achieved lots of kind of points of pride and excellence. Our marching band is the largest it's ever been in our school history. We've been invited to participate in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade upcoming this year, so we're really excited about that opportunity. Many of our faculty in this program help in that program. In this program, the marching bucks falls under this department. So we're thrilled about the opportunity there. We also, in the last couple of years, opened the Martin Center for the Arts, which is a very large facility. It's described in the proposal that you all have, but it's a facility that has offered opportunities for our region across the arts, and it's a very special place. The faculty in our music department actually use that as a classroom for those students, and so we believe that having the Martin Center as part of this program has positioned us well to be able to provide support for this master's program. So we believe that it adds to our strength. I'll also note that there are strong letters from local employers and local community partners who are excited about the opportunity that this master's program will provide. That was it. I knew we could only have 5 slides, so I will say we believe that the program adds to our current offerings and strengthens what we have in the arts, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you all might have about the program. Thank you.
Let's ask Mayor Warren.
Mayor Wharton, do you have any questions for Dr. McCorkle?
I've got a question, more of a comment. This is great, and my angle on this, I love the phrase quality of life. That is a critical tool when our elected officials began recruiting throughout the country and around the world. Unfortunately, there are still places in the world that just cannot believe that we here in Tennessee pursue the finer things of life, just as folks from New England or wherever. And I have had serious questions trying to convince leading corporate officials. The corporate officials are willing to come, but they get blowback from their families and their children. So I'll make that observation, and then my question is, I just want to make certain that the folks over there in ED who are traveling and going on these missions, that they have a first-hand knowledge of the fact that we are adopting programs offering educational pursuits that you can find in other places. This is and quality of life. In many instances, when it comes to corporate relocation, everybody's given tax breaks, everybody's given incentives. So it boils down to, yeah, you got all of that, but what quality of life? And I just want to make sure that we're coordinating with our economic development people and that they have a knowledge of all that our great state has to offer, particularly courses and offerings like this.
So thank you for the comment and question. And what I'll say there, this program has been involved, the department has been involved in regional and state efforts that include the Tennessee Entertainment Commission, Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. We recently, in Bristol, which considers itself the birthplace of country music, at the Country Music Museum, participated in a launch of a new initiative, the Northeast Tennessee Music Initiative, that is a collaboration between the state agencies, as I mentioned, Entertainment Commission, the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Commissioner McWhorter was there and talked about the importance of regional focus on, as you mentioned, kind of quality of life initiatives. So I think that we've worked to be connected with the groups that you're talking about to tell the story about the importance of the arts, both at the educational level, but also in terms of improving quality of life to attract people to our state. Thank you for the comment.
And I just have to add this, because that is a dispute. Y'all know I was raised on country music. I listened to Willie Nelson's station, and Dallas Wayne is on there saying that Bristol is the birthplace and home of country music.
Yes.
Mr. Secretary, you've got influence around Nashville. We got to get an answer to that question. Bristol, that's the most burning issue.
I understand there is some dispute on that point, but I will, yeah.
Get one of these graduates to write a paper on that.
We'll do that. It's a great suggestion.
Thank you very much, Provost. I just want to add two things. One, I visited with Dr. Noland and others about a month ago up in ETSU. I got to walk the campus a little bit. I got to see one joint taught course between woodworking to make guitars, custom guitars, and music class professor as well. And I just thought what a really great combination to see coming together in that area. Really neat. Second, I voice this whenever I'm back on campus, but there was a 1990s Stephen Gentile. I used to go to the Dome all the time for marching band competitions when I lived in Western North Carolina. So your regional impact extends, don't laugh, Julie. Your regional impact extends beyond just Eastern Tennessee as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I did not mention our connection to Bluegrass, but we have a Bluegrass program that just celebrated its 40th year anniversary. So there's a strong connection with our music faculty. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. McCorkle. With that, Mayor Wharton, can I get you to move having this program move forward since you're so excited about it?
Oh, yes. Madam Chair, I enthusiastically move the adoption of this program.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Motion carries. So next up, Dr. Shanklin, you're recognized.
Good morning. We appreciate your time and interest in our new program. I'm Steve Shanklin, the interim dean for the College of Business at Tennessee State University. With me today is our provost and academic affairs vice president, along with Dr. Mia, who chairs the Business Information Systems Department, where this program would be housed. And we've got some medical people too. So, first of all, our program is designed, one of the hot areas is everybody, if you say technology, you need to be prepared to prove it. We're initiating this program proposal to develop a professional workforce that's prepared to address the needs of a rapidly expanding data analytics field, focusing primarily on the software mechanisms as opposed to an engineering program which would focus more on hardware. The key is help businesses make better data-driven decisions. Make sure I got all this. Here we go. And our aims are to prepare students to become specialists in the field of business data analytics, very broadly based. The curriculum is designed to cover advanced data analytics software tools and applications that are utilized in the workplace. A lot of that feedback came from our community boards. So our application tools will include R, Python, Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, SQL, RapidMiner, database programming, etc. And that is a dynamic group that, as they fall in and out of favor, we're prepared to move ahead, utilizing and preparing faculty and students so that they are more prepared to enter the job market. One, it's affordable. Two, fully online, a 30 credit hour program, and 12 months to graduation. This also includes, when I mention affordable, our 250-mile radius that includes graduate programs now that can extend to give a discount to not only everybody in the state, but includes Cincinnati, Louisville, St. Louis, Atlanta, Birmingham, reaching out as the state of Tennessee kind of expands, especially in Nashville being here as the IT city. Hopefully we can attract some additional investment in our educational systems. High demand in one of the fastest growing technology fields, projected growth for tech jobs in Middle Tennessee from a survey from 2022 to 27 is 18% growth we're anticipating. 23% for data scientists compared to an 11% projected national tech growth. So we, again, are a bit ahead of the curve, and we want to exploit that as much as we can. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics expects data analysts to grow by 25% in a 10-year period from 2020 through 2030. The global market for data analytics was $231 billion in 2021 and is projected to reach $550 billion approximately by 2028. U.S. alone holding about 85% of North America's data analytics market. According to NobleDesktop.com, employment of data scientists projected to grow 36% in a 10-year period dating from 2021 to 2031. Now, our alignment with the state's master plan and institutional mission, the alignment with the master plan, our Master of Science in Business Data Analytics aligns with the state plan by preparing students with necessary skills to thrive in a high-demand technology field. Through an affordable and accessible program allowing sustained family prosperity and increased student access, no matter where they live throughout the state of Tennessee and surrounding area. The proposed program will maximize chances of student completion through a cohort model and targeted with early faculty intervention, which aligns with the student success focus and the state's master plan as well. The proposed Master of Science supports the future workforce by preparing graduates for high demand jobs in an ever-expanding data analytics field. Now, with respect to TSU's mission in this alignment, the proposed program supports TSU's mission by preparing a diverse group of competitive graduates and focusing on academic excellence through scholarly inquiry, teaching, research, lifelong learning, and public service. Program graduates will be positioned to serve as leaders in the global workforce, aligning with TSU's strategic plans and goals to produce scholars to change the world, end quote, and to create a transformative educational environment that impacts Middle Tennessee and beyond. And no good accountant can have a presentation without numbers. We also want to take a look at our projected enrollment. Right now, the target would be for our first year, a projected enrollment of approximately 20 people, with one projected for attrition and projected graduates of 19. If you scale that down for a 5-year period, from the intro, we're only planning to grow the program by approximately 10 to a group of 30 and a net of 29 over the first 5 years of operation. Now, the projected cost that we have, we retained a consultant from the University of Illinois at Chicago, Dr. Michael Choi, who operates a similar program on a larger scale, and he gave us tremendous insight of what would help us be successful, and we are greatly appreciative for his commitment to what we can do here on a model that's a little bit more advanced even in Chicago. The great thing that he did for us for the $2,000 was he showed us what to look for and what adaptations to early intervene in programs to make sure the quality of our program is maintained. Faculty and instructional staff, a program director to recruit and literally facilitate all the faculty interaction, because we are online, and for most of these we expect to be in a remote location. Graduate assistants, again, younger people to support the faculty and the director. Marketing cost, we're projecting $33,000 for awareness and reaching out in a newly formed partnership closely aligned with our graduate program, which they will help us to recruit, and especially in the field of online education. They have been very successful, and we want to be a bit more engaged in that process. Grand total is the planning cost was that we only had out of pocket $2,000, and the projected cost to maintain and develop our program to the levels that we projected in enrollments and graduates is approximately $77,000 a year. The projected revenue from tuition, and these are in-state numbers only, so that if we do get some people from outside the 250-mile radius, then those out-of-state tuitions, they would not receive the discount, but would pay out-of-state tuition. That is not figured here. We took the more conservative numbers. So the tuition we're showing in the first year is $303,810. All the way to the 5th year, we're showing a projection of $463,710 in year 5. If we are able to again attract others for out-of-state tuition, those numbers would be enhanced as well. So
May I interrupt you, Chairman? Just to add to that, just as a reminder, the TSU has, I believe, the highest ratio of out-of-state students in the state as well. So
yes.
that is taking a very conservative approach, assuming that there's a good number of students who would like them from out-of-state too.
Can I see the next slide, please?
Be glad to, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, we'll entertain any questions you might have.
Dr. Gentile, you mentioned just a moment ago they had the highest ratio of out-of-state students for any of our four-year schools, right?
That's right.
Does that apply to undergraduate and graduate?
That's getting a nod from Provost Melton. Yes, does that apply to graduate and undergraduate students? The out-of-state ratio. We'll look. Yeah, that's an undergrad specific population statistic. I'll look into see if that's true for graduate population as well, that the out-of-state is leading.
I'd like to know that.
Yeah, that's very common for HBCUs, public HBCUs, to attract students from outside of state as well.
I'm not surprised by that, but I was going to be a little surprised if that applied to graduate students as well.
So we'll get the answer to that.
Yeah, we'll get that data for you.
In our college, I can speak to it, that we have a large number of international students also that come to TSU for their business education. And for that reason, you can almost, in interviewing and chatting with them, there is a connection in the family that extends to what our HBCU family worldwide says. They come back, and a lot of them from the African continent. Large number of our GAs especially come from across the waters.
Mayor Warden, you have any questions?
No additional questions. Thank you.
Dr. Champlin, I have two questions. One, the costs are a little bit surprising to me. I'm guessing they're so low, it's $7,000 a year because it's an online program.
Right.
I've been through an online program and I'm curious to know, is it a dedicated faculty person who's working with the cohort? How does that work when it comes to student experience and keeping that cohort connected in the program?
That's the reason that you see the GAs, because there will be GAs assigned to the needs of those students. They will support more or less as a teacher assistant to the faculty. And Dr. Mia has selected appropriately the ones who have experience online. We will not have any newbies. Ours will have experience because we have a hybrid EMBA program now, and we also have a distance MBA program now, and all of these people that will teach in this program have experience in that one as well. So we're not starting from scratch, we're starting from strength.
And what, the second question, somewhat unrelated, what businesses are you partnering with when it comes to continuously evolving the program or even thinking about potential partnerships just across
When we
Middle Tennessee?
had the advisory board come in to speak to Dr. Choi when he came to visit, there is a genuine, palpable interest in the room by everybody, because I remember one young man that graduated 20-odd years ago that works for Dollar General just north of town. And his comment was very clear. Gosh, would this have ever saved me some time? This is the sort of thing that new people in the field need, and they will get a head start. And to a person, everybody on that advisory board says, we need someone now. So they're planning on reaching out, and that partnership was always one of, here, you prepare the graduates, and we'll provide them with the experience and internships that would normally occur, we think are just going to go to direct employment because of the 12-month period. We're not, because of a distance program, it's not going to be practical to do that, but we will do some virtual matching of people's skills and expectations from our community partners.
Somewhat unrelated question. How are you partnering with the local school district in Nashville or the surrounding counties to help bring this sort of programming into the high schools?
I would probably not be the one to ask Dr. Mia. We do have a committee in the college that reaches out not just for BIS, but for everything. And we have some target schools that we have where we bring them into our campus. But I'll let him address it more
So in
specifically.
the college, we have a student recruitment and retention committee. So what we do is sometimes we visit local high schools for the undergrad program mostly. And then also we bring high school students to our campus to give a tour and give our information about our different programs. Also, TSU also has, overall, they also have a center that we also do the similar thing with the local high schools as well.
And we have the dual enrollment.
Yeah, we have the dual enrollment program as well. We have some articulation program with some local colleges, community colleges, and so on. But those are mainly focused for undergrad program. But this is for the graduate programs.
Yeah, I just think that the concepts that are in this sort of program somehow, in the best case world, would be filtered down into the high school, even middle school, so that we're motivating students to go down these pathways, since it's such a needed skill set across every sector. So, thank you.
Well, and in our hiring process over the past 2 years, we have recruited people into the College of Business that are multilingual so that we can reach out to a more diverse population to consider higher education in the city of Nashville. And we have, because we just hired one as an accounting professor, can lecture in both English and Spanish, which helps create a whole new awareness just for a couple of high schools alone that we work with. So I think we've got to be very conscious of that.
Just to add to your other question about the local companies and those kind of things. So our department advisory board, we have people serving from different companies like Vanderbilt Health, Tennessee Finance Department. We have Dollar General, Angle Point, CompTIA. We also collaborate with Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, and so on. So we have a big company, a lot of companies to collaborate with to find out what kind of program we need and for our graduates for internship and jobs. Thank you.
And the sun doesn't set over our building unless it passes over the Amazon building.
That's true. Thank you very much, Dr. Shanklin. Any other questions? Okay, with that, yes, Mayor Wharton.
One quick comment. I would hope that we would coordinate with our municipal technical assistance service. This discipline is needed so badly in the public sector. We read every day of cities running short, counties or whatever, so I hope someone would reach out to those services and see if somehow some of this could be made available to public officials, particularly those working in financial offices and planning offices in our governments across the state. It's a great program.
Well, this time I'll make a motion to approve this. Looking for a second. Mayor Wharton, why don't you give me a second?
I'll give you a second.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Madam Secretary.
Chairwoman Scarlett,
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton,
Aye.
Secretary Hargit. Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Motion carries.
Thank you much. We appreciate your consideration.
Next up, we have Dr. Barreto. Am I pronouncing that correct? You are recognized.
Thank you so much to the committee members. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to be here. My name is Ron Barreto. I serve as Dean for the College of Health Sciences at Tennessee State University. I would like to mention that just like my previous colleague from ETSU, you're one of those programs that were sandwiched in terms of long wait times. But however, we are where we are and we appreciate the opportunity to present. I would like to recognize several members of our team who helped in the development of the PhD proposal. So we have Provost Melton, who's there, and then our Associate Dean for the College of Health Sciences, Dr. Kanu. We have Dr. Brown, the Chair of the Department of Public Health, Health Administration, Health Sciences, our Interim Public Health Director, Dr. Inman, and a faculty member who's been very active in the development process, Dr. Sanford Terry. So here they are. Thank you. We do have colleagues from the College of Business also. Thank you so much. So let me talk about the proposed program, the PhD program in public health. So the program is aimed to train culturally competent public health research workforce that is prepared to address factors contributing to health disparities. And I think it's very important when you look at demographic changes to recognize how these demographic changes have public health consequences. And so what we want to do is develop doctorally prepared individuals in this particular space. The program addresses health disparities through multicultural or multidisciplinary collaboration in shortages that have already been identified and in your packet. What's interesting about our program is positionally, it is at a place where when you look at trend data, there is an anticipated retirement of more than 20% for doctorally prepared workforce in terms of public health. And in Tennessee alone, by 2028, it exceeds 20%. So I think positionally and demographically, we have a program that would address the needs locally and also nationally. The PhD program in public health is aligned with both the state master plan and our institutional mission. You can see it there where, in terms of components of student success, we want to make sure that our students are academically ready to be able to enter our program and then eventually in the workplace. Since TSU as a public program, it's affordable, and I think it will contribute to access in higher education. And of course, when it comes to the trend data that I mentioned a while ago, there will be career opportunities for graduates of the PhD program. Another aspect of the state master plan is academic preparation. I think it's important to recognize that this is a pathway for the advancement in terms of degree opportunities. When you look at the College of Health Sciences, we do have a bachelor's in public health, we do have a master's in public health, and with the possibility of having a PhD in public health, this will just help continue in terms of academic preparation. Now, the PhD in public health is not limited to MPH people, but of course, there are other programs or other graduates with other types of disciplines and sways that I think would benefit from this opportunity. When you look at academic preparation, you also look at, adult learners, for example, as part of the underrepresented populations. And I think when you look at adult learners, it also contributes to the goals of Tennessee Promise and the Drive to 55. as I mentioned a while ago, some of the students may be licensed health professionals, and they would require training such as this in terms of lifelong training, especially when they do renew their licenses. And the last item in the state master plan talks about the future workforce, and I think I mentioned that already about the program being positionally and demographically positioned to be able to address health disparities and the trend and needs data when it comes to the workforce of doctorally prepared research individuals. When it comes to the institutional mission, part of the mission for TSU has in part, it says, foster scholarly inquiry and research. And I think this is one of those things that is relevant when it comes to the PhD in public health. One of our components when it comes to strategic priorities is affordable and accessible education in a high demand field. And I think, and our team believes in looking at the data that public health is a high demand field. So how did that help us? In terms of our preparation and development, we have the following goals that address that. It's alignment to the institutional mission: to prepare a public health workforce with skills to conduct health disparities research, to conduct research that prepares students to develop programming and evaluation in a culturally competent framework, and then finally to support research careers and leadership roles in academia, government agencies, consulting firms, and industry. I know we've had partnerships, including the CDC, that has been very helpful when it comes to our relationship with them and be able to address any concerns, any trends that affect the population and of course, in the state. When it comes to numbers, I wanted to highlight our projected enrollment in graduates and of course the program costs. Let me start off with the enrollment in graduates. You can see there 7-year data, and the reason for this is our accrediting body, CEF, looks at it from an extended point of view up until 7 years. And you can see that our projected attrition is minimal. And the reason for that is CEF accreditation requires that we make sure that our attrition is low. So when you look at our MPH program, it reflects that. And so we're planning to apply those same principles to take care of our students to be able to complete the program. When it comes to program costs, you can see the bottom line there for both costs and revenues, that we are self-sustaining. When you look at the first couple of years, year 1 and year 2, we do have funding that says other, and that really comes from residual funding, from academic program development that we are utilizing. You also see in year 1 that it has no numbers in terms of grants, but we do have received recent funding of around $400,000+ that will help in part with our program. And so you can see here when it comes to projected costs and revenues that our program would be in the black when it comes to the numbers throughout year 1 all the way, at least projected to year 7. So these are the bottom line numbers for this particular PhD program. So at this point, I was told we only had 5 minutes, so I had to speed up. But yeah, any questions you might have?
Can you go back to your first slide?
Sure.
Mayor Wharton, do you have any questions?
No questions. Good program.
I'll move approval unless you have some.
No, I'll second that.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett?
Aye.
Chairwoman Yu, 3 ayes.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Dr. Bruce from Tennessee Tech, you are recognized.
Thank you, and I want to thank you for allowing us to present this proposal today, and I want to thank the THEC staff for all of their guidance and support through our proposal process. And I want to go ahead and recognize I have with me our Dean of the College of Engineering, Dean Joe Slater, so he may be able to help me answer any questions you have too. So we're very excited to be proposing a new Bachelor of Science degree in nuclear engineering. The curriculum has been developed by our outstanding faculty in our College of Engineering. with special input from mechanical engineering department. Many of those faculty have transferable expertise in energy, thermal science, fluid mechanics that directly applies to nuclear engineering. And the mechanical engineering department is where the program would be organizationally housed, and will be a part of that department. So the proposed nuclear engineering program, it complements Tennessee Tech University's existing academic programs, particularly those in math, chemistry, physics, engineering, and computer science. I would note that our physics department really has one fundamental expertise area, and that's nuclear physics. So they also play a supporting role. So the degree program will be a 128 credit hour degree program with 41 credits of general education, 21 in fundamental math and science, and 66 credits in engineering, core, and electives. Currently, enrollments in our College of Engineering account for about a third of all students, all of our 10,000 plus students at Tennessee Tech. Our College of Engineering currently offers 8 accredited bachelor's programs, 6 master's programs, and an umbrella PhD program that supports chemical engineering, civil and environmental engineering, computer science, electrical and computer engineering, manufacturing engineering technology, and mechanical and aerospace engineering. So we are truly a STEM-infused comprehensive university, and nuclear engineering will be a natural fit on our campus. We've already established strong partnerships with industry. We have about 20 industry partners, most of which have come to us and sought us out as soon as word got out on the street that we were even thinking of developing a nuclear engineering program. We started getting approached, and we have already MOUs and even scholarship funding in place so that the second they are so anxious for this program to be in place, they're already putting in place ways to support us and have agreed to be on our industrial advisory board. They've already played a key role in even the initial design of our curriculum. So very industry driven. Some examples is General Atomics, Teledyne Brown Engineering, X Energy, UCOR, which is the main company that does all of the nuclear remediation at Oak Ridge National Lab. So these partnerships are definitely having an impact on the design of the program and will help us build the program successfully. So our goal for the program is to graduate career-ready working engineers that can immediately support the nuclear energy industry, and that's why the industry partners are excited about it. So as a result of our industry partnerships, as well as input from world-renowned consultants, we have 2 individuals in particular that have played key roles. One is a professor at Georgia Tech. He was the director of their nuclear engineering program, and a professor emeritus from UT Knoxville who had a long history in the nuclear engineering program there. So we have external advisors as well as industry, and they've been helping us, as I said, design the curriculum, and we have focused on 3 emphasis areas for this curriculum, and that is spent nuclear fuel reprocessing. I'll revisit that maybe in a minute. Nuclear safety and nuclear cybersecurity. And we have a very strong cybersecurity program at Tennessee Tech, and we see a strong partnership there. These are emphasis areas that complement what we already do at Tennessee Tech. It complements our current programs in engineering and computer science, but more importantly, it's what the industry is asking us for. And so it will help them meet their workforce development needs. So, as with all of our engineering programs, the proposed program will emphasize experiential, hands-on learning with applied skills. We take great pride in our engineering graduates having state-of-the-art engineering knowledge combined with practical skills, strong work ethic, professionalism, and tenacity. And if this program is approved by the commission, we have no doubt that the nuclear engineering grads will also exemplify those traits of a tech engineer. So, it kind of seems redundant to talk about how this fits in with Tennessee Tech's mission, but at the university level, it definitely matches the mission of our university. It aligns with our Carnegie R2 rating, and it clearly aligns with Tennessee Tech being a STEM-infused comprehensive university. And we have a strong focus at Tennessee Tech on creating, advancing, and applying knowledge for developing opportunities and economic competitiveness in the state of Tennessee, and this aligns well with that. So in terms of economic competitiveness of our state, the nuclear energy industry worldwide, as well as in the U.S. and in the state of Tennessee, is poised for dramatic growth over the next 2 to 3 decades. This will result in significant increase in a need for bachelor's trained nuclear engineers. According to the American Society of Engineering Education, the existing nuclear engineering academic programs in the country, so all of the existing nuclear engineering programs in the U.S. currently produce less than 400 bachelor's graduates a year. The production marginally meets the current need for nuclear engineers and certainly is insufficient to supply the impending growth in the workforce development in nuclear engineering. One of the reasons there is a growth in a need for nuclear engineers is the integration of small modular reactors into the power grid. So we currently have 92 nuclear reactors in the country, of which 4 are in the state of Tennessee. But with the integration of small modular reactors, the number of reactors will dramatically increase in the U.S. and in the state of Tennessee. So while currently nuclear energy provides about 10% of the world's electricity, in the state of Tennessee, more than 40% of our electricity comes from nuclear reactors currently. In the 2023 State of the State address, Governor Lee stated, quote, "No other state in the country comes close to Tennessee's legacy, resources, and potential to be a leader in nuclear energy. And there's no long-term national energy strategy that doesn't include nuclear energy." So addressing this growth, the governor is investing $50 million in establishing a nuclear development and manufacturing ecosystem that's designed to build the future workforce development of Tennessee. And this endorsement from the governor demonstrates, we believe, the need for new academic programs that can facilitate that workforce development. For accreditation, the university will seek ABET accreditation for the program. This will allow our graduates to sit for the professional engineering licensure exam. And if the commission approves our proposal, we will immediately submit notification to SAC COC to stay in alignment with our university accreditation. As with most things at Tennessee Tech, we're very conservative with our enrollment projections, starting at 10 in year 1, growing to about almost 50 by year 5. But I will say, based on input from our industry partners and our external evaluators, we recognize these are very conservative estimates, and we're very likely to outpace these enrollment projections. We will have capacity for higher enrollments. We will have capacity for almost double those enrollment projections. But for financial projections, we want to be very conservative to make sure we have really good financial break-even points. And even with these conservative projections, we'll reach a break-even point around year 7 in the costs of the program to enrollment. If we have increased enrollment, we'll reach our break-even point earlier. But we have a plan in place to support the program for the first 7 years until it reaches its break-even point. The table that shows expenses, those expenses are recurring annual costs of faculty and technician salaries and benefits, small equipment and materials, and just general operating expenses. There is a significant investment that is needed in startup costs for the labs and the equipment, but we are very fortunate that we have obtained a congressionally directed grant through the Department of Education, a multi-million-dollar grant that is going to support the purchase of initial equipment to set up the labs. I will entertain any questions that you might have.
Well, first I should say, I'm sorry that my board chair is not here because he's a nuclear engineer and I'm sure he would have lots of questions, much more articulate than I will have, but this is exciting. The demand is clear, the interest is there. I'm curious what partnership with local districts, how are you recruiting and marketing this program to high school?
We've not started marketing, so we've not
students?
have approval of the program.
Well, of course, how will you begin to market and think about driving that?
We will, our College of Engineering, I was having a meeting yesterday and explaining to some people on campus that our enrollment growth in our College of Engineering is not by accident. It's through strategy and action. And we have weekly recruitment activities into our College of Engineering for all of our engineering majors and computer science. And this will be a part of that kind of overall approach. We already have students who've transferred to Tennessee Tech in anticipation of us having a nuclear engineering degree program. So we keep explaining to them, we do not have a nuclear engineering program yet, but there's excitement about it. And, when you look at where we are placed geographically in the state, our proximity to Oak Ridge National Lab, there's a natural interest amongst Tennessee citizens in nuclear. We have that legacy, and so there's an interest in the program already. So we'll market it, we'll recruit in similar fashion that we do our other engineering programs, but we do not anticipate a lack
Dearth of candidates.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And I think more specifically, like working with high schools to think about the prerequisite courses and what math and computer science and other sort of stepping stones will be beneficial for students who have that interest, but also want to make sure they have the skills and knowledge coming in to be successful.
So we also have dual enrollment programs, particularly in cybersecurity area, and we do think that will be a natural interest of students who are interested in cybersecurity and the emphasis of nuclear engineering and cybersecurity where those two cross. We have something we call a STEM mobile that goes on a road show, and it goes to high schools. And so we have partnerships with various school districts and middle schools and high schools, and helping not just the students, but the teachers and the guidance counselors understand what pathway and what high school diploma is going to put them in the best position to be able to enter directly into a four-year engineering.
That's great, and giving them a chance to know if there are any gaps in their course offerings and where they need to fill those in for students who might be interested. That's great.
Not yet.
Mayor Wharton, any questions?
No questions.
I have just a comment. This is the first time I've seen the governing board approval within a period of 10 weeks from the time that we're seeing this. What date or period of time did you start thinking about this program?
We've been working on this program for about 5 years behind the scenes. Yeah. And so we have, done a lot of deep analysis of market movements in the, in the industry sector. But we've been working on this for several years, even putting in place the finances to be able to launch a program of this nature before we even submit our initial letter of notification to THEC, so that we know that we've done all of our foundational building before we've even entered into the process of proposing.
Do you know when the original letter of notification was sent to you?
February of 2023.
Obviously you mentioned a break-even point in year 7. You said you've got a plan in place, though, for how to make up for the gap between expenses and the revenue. Can you give me a flavor of what that is? I'm trying to figure out, and this is not directed necessarily at Tennessee Tech, but I'm trying to gain some insight into how everybody calculates their expenses when they present to us. What is part of that plan?
So
that money comes from somewhere.
Right. So part of the plan on this is, even in the early stages, to keep the costs low early, is using our existing faculty in those other disciplines where there's transferable expertise and building into their load early on, until the enrollment's enough that you can break off whole sections for the nuclear engineering courses. So that's part of it. Part of it is looking at our funding, and we might delay an initiative in another area in order to put those funds toward this program. So if we have, if we have any carry forwards, right? If we have any unexpended, we're pooling that money and setting it aside, putting it into accounts so that we can buy equipment, we can buy computers. So if we have funds that are earmarked for computer purchases and we don't expend all the funds in a year, we're setting that aside, building a plan, and using those funds. So you're not counting on that forever, but for the first 2 or 3 years, you're using those types of funding and finances to help support the
So
program.
you have excess capacity within your current faculty?
As long as the enrollments are low, right? You can put those students into labs. For example, a fluid mechanics course. There may be 2 or 3 extra seats in a lab. You can embed those students in that lab, but once your enrollment grows, you've got to pull off a new section.
So you have capacity in your current group of classes?
In certain areas.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm never opposed to growing a section to make capacity.
That's a fair answer.
Any other questions? Mayor Wharton, I'll ask for a motion from you, please.
Certainly, proudly, I move the improvement of the program just presented, nuclear engineering.
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Chairwoman Scarlett,
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton,
Aye.
Secretary Hargit. Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Motion carries. Thanks, Dr. Bruce. All right, next up we have University of Tennessee, Knoxville, Data Science, Bachelor of Science. Dr. Zomchik, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Secretary, excuse me, commissioners. I'll start by thanking our colleagues at the Higher Education Commission, including Dr. Roberts, who, as Chief Academic Officer, made sure I had a parking pass this morning. For that, I'm deeply grateful.
We would have picked you up.
That's service that I don't know I deserve. But anyway, and my colleague from the UT system, Dr. Bernie Savarese, who is the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Research and Student Success, who always makes sure that we get things right at Knoxville. It's a pleasure this morning to be here before you. I'm going to be presenting 4 different new degree programs, 3 of which are in our brand new College of Collaborative and Emerging and Collaborative Studies, which we call THEC. The other one, excuse me, in our Tickle College of Engineering. I think what I'll say at the outset before I dive into data science is that all of these degrees have 2 things in common. And one is relevance, and 2 is workforce needs. So I hope you keep that in mind as I go through each of these degree programs. The first, the Bachelor of Science in Data Science in our College of Emerging and Collaborative Studies, is designed, much like we've heard already about data science, to fill a future talent gap in the need for, as our society becomes more and more highly dependent on quantification, preparing our students to take up jobs in a variety of industries that have to do with or depend on data. So what our students will learn in this particular degree program is that they will gain a perspective on the need and the use of data from an interdisciplinary focus. They will have immersive experiences, including they will start as a cohort, and they will have internship experiences, and they will also, because of the interdisciplinary nature of it, address questions of the ethics and appropriate use of data. So it's less of an engineering approach to data science and more of a holistic approach to the widespread use of data across the workforce. There on the right-hand side of the slide, you see some of the skills that they will learn, how to apply data concepts to real-world issues, and I think they will also develop some relevant programming abilities along the way, but those it's not a computer science, it's not going to be heavily focused on the same kinds of programs that we saw in the Masters of Data Science earlier today. Program alignment. We think it aligns very well both with the state master plan and with the University of Tennessee at Knoxville's mission. We think that the students who come out of this program will be immediately employable. They will be able to get employed not only here, but across the country, we think. We hope that we will give them the skills to be able to adapt to the rapidly changing landscape of the way that data and computing is used in the industry at this current time. Here is the budget and enrollment projections. I should say that we have had a major in data science. It's been, housed in our College of Arts and Sciences in the interdisciplinary program. When we created the new College of THEC, that moved over into KEX, and so there are already some students in that pipeline. That's why you see here, by year 3, we expect to have maybe 10 graduates. One of the things that we do know is that we have had a great deal of interest and remarkable success in filling our classes Data Science 101, which is a basic introduction to data. So we think that there is a lot of interest in this particular program among our undergraduate students. And that's the end for this one. Happy to take questions.
Any questions? Yes.
Also very interested in this program as a bachelor's and again, what that means for K-12 and particularly high school students. And we're also, this is caveated by saying it's a time where in K-12 we're really doing a lot of thinking about what math looks like, how are we preparing teachers in K-8 to provide a really strong foundation for students to have access to upper level courses in high school? Where do those paths potentially diverge in terms of STEM, non-STEM? A lot of discussion. So I guess all that coming to my question, what would you imagine like the ideal 4th year classes for a high school student would be coming into this program?
So that's an excellent question. This will not necessarily be a math-heavy program. So for example, we will not expect calculus or even pre-calculus. I think we think of this as a mixture of some sort of standard math skills that we want all of our college students to have, and then a deeper dive into the use of data. So statistics, for example, would be very useful in this program.
Okay, that's very helpful. Go ahead, please.
I think that's what distinguishes it from an engineering program.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Too late. No, you still get to ask questions.
This market changes at a very rapid rate. Have you talked about creating a faster program? A program where not as many courses are required, or something that will enable your students to get into the workforce, or do something, I don't want to
Right question.
A 2-year program versus a 4-year program, or something along those lines. It's the speed to market is so important, not because we have to fill the jobs, but because the industry is changing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, that's a really fantastic question. And to be honest, right now we've been sort of trying to get this program established. But we have a really entrepreneurial dean of the College of Emerging and Collaborative Studies. Just to give you an example, last Friday, she met with about 100 employers from business and industry from the region. President Boyd was there, President Jer Whaley from Roane State was there, and Stephen Streifer, the new director of Oak Ridge National Lab, were there on a panel. And so one of the things that we heard from the employers was that, yes, we need these students, we need them now. So I will take that back and say we really do need to look at accelerated pathways. I think that's true across the board. It's not a very popular opinion, but.
I'm gonna ask a question. I appreciate you bringing that up. So this may not be an answer you can give today. In fact, it might be best that you didn't give it today. But I would love for you to look at the non-degree classes, the non-core classes in this program, and really figure out how they hinder the speed to market. One of the things that we have talked about in recent meetings was how can we speed things up overall? Are we kind of stuck in, this is a 4-year plan, and my gosh, this is gonna be 4 years no matter what? Really help us figure out, if you could wave a wand, what this program will really look like. Okay, like I said, probably not the answer for today, but I would love for all of us around the state to really start thinking deeper about that. And instead of just saying, nope, it's only 20 hours. Nope, we got to come up with only 20 hours. And I don't think the employer honestly cares about some of that. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the Secretary.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Wonderful. Motion carries. Congratulations. Dr. Zahn.
Next, applied artificial intelligence. I know I've said this before, I think in this very meeting you can't open a paper today without reading about artificial intelligence, without, it seems to change every moment. As a matter of fact, on my way here this morning, I heard a news report saying that Google will now have its artificial intelligence engine on their search page. They're launching it today or yesterday. The purpose of this degree is to really answer that need to have just about everyone conversant with, literate with artificial intelligence. We hope at some time, this doesn't have as much to do with this program, but at some time that we could have across the curriculum artificial intelligence sort of requirement, or at least opportunity for general education for all of our students. I think it's that important. I don't think it's a fad. And I think this is the beginning to have a recognized academic program in artificial intelligence that will not only prepare our students who major in this program to move immediately into an ever-expanding workforce, but also to sort of spread it out across the campus. Again, the important term here is applied artificial intelligence. These students are not going to be down in the, I don't even know how to describe it, but making artificial intelligence systems or large language models. They will be learning how to use it, how to apply it. They will be addressing ethical and policy issues about artificial intelligence. And again, like data science, it will be an interdisciplinary approach. And again, you can see some of the outcomes. Understanding what AI is and what AI does and how algorithms work and the models work without necessarily having the skills to create those algorithms or create those models. That's a different kind of degree than this is. This is, you see, I think the 4th bullet on the right, develop computing skills via no-code AI tools. So not a coding program, an application program. I think what I said about data science goes doubly here. Our students who come through this program will be immediately employable, and I think will help our communities. They will be dealing with real life issues, everything from cybersecurity to prompt engineering. There's the budget and enrollment. That's the end of this one.
My computer died, so forgive me. Was this a bachelor's or a master's?
Bachelor of Science. It's a bachelor's of science.
I have similar questions as you on the last one. I mean, this is one where, again, talk about the turnaround and the rapid change and how much of those skills are all entering freshmen going to need in terms of accessing it versus like what this program would provide more deeply. Can you talk to me about how you're thinking about those trade-offs? I mean, again, I just think, the whole world's going to need to be learning about how to use AI and understand its
So before we sort of started thinking about this program, we did not have an artificial intelligence course at UT Knoxville. Now we have AI 101, AI 201, AI 301. We plan to submit to our faculty AI 101 for our general education, that would count towards our general education requirement. Once we do that, we hope and think that we can begin to spread that throughout the curriculum. But you're absolutely right. We need to sort of be nimble and adaptive because it changes so rapidly. It's dizzying in some respects.
One of my questions was how do you keep the curriculum up to date because it is changing. So this is changing faster than the data analytics space.
It is.
So that speed to market is similar to our question as the previous ones. How do you stay up to date? How do you have professors or people that are in industry teaching this? How rapid the pace is moving?
Great question. One of the really interesting things about this program and Dean Killick's connection with industry is that we have an ability to ask them where they think they see the needs, where they think the changes are coming. But also part of this is that we have a faculty title called Professor of Practice. We're hoping that we can draw on industry to come in and perhaps teach a course, someone from business or someone from industry. But in addition, that the University of Tennessee has made artificial intelligence an area of focus and an area of growth from the point of view of research. So we have people in our computer science, electrical engineering and computer science, our math departments, and actually spread throughout the faculty. We're on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. So we will sort of depend upon their expertise, I think, to help us stay up to date. So, our partners in business and industry, our scientists who are leading the way in developing new artificial intelligence tools, bring them together, and that's how we will keep working.
Commissioner Morris asked a question earlier about high school math requirements, and I wonder if there's an opportunity to have mentioned Gen Ed artificial intelligence brought down into the high school. Because high school, even I would even say going into middle school at this point, right? So there's a need to start building the bridge between what's happening in math and logic and other analytics in the middle and high school. That bridge has got to go into post-secondary at some point. It doesn't exist in K-12, so how do you bring that down? And some of you're describing this in a way of somebody like they're not building the code, but they're trying to think about it from a business intelligence perspective, right?
Yes, exactly.
And that's a different level of functioning, but you can teach that at a variety of levels of maturity, intellectual and otherwise. And so it's just something to think about.
One of the things that we are trying to do, we are in the process of doing is completing an MOU with L&N STEM Academy. I don't know if you're familiar with the L&N STEM Academy, but they're right adjacent to our campus. They have an engineering focus, but they also have students who are, quite frankly, not very good in math because it's by lottery. It's not by any kind of your skill set that you get into L&M. So we hope to have an MOU in place maybe by the end of this month, and so that we can, their students can come to us, we can go and teach some of their classes. That could be a starting point for Knox County schools.
Absolutely. I will move to approve this. Sorry. Is there a question? Do you have a question?
No, just a comment. Hi, Robbie Melton. On behalf of Dr. Gentile and I, we serve on the SREB AI Commission Board. And also on behalf of Tennessee State that has a Center for AI for Underrepresented Groups, I would hope that we are able to share and collaborate with your initiative and bring two together because again, as you just shared, AI is moving rapidly. And with our resources and our combined effort, I'm sure we can make Tennessee the model state for AI.
We would welcome that. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
As a quick context on that, the Southern Regional Educational Board is got a panel that's chaired by Governor McMaster of South Carolina. And representatives from all states in the SRAB are a part of this conversation. And from Tennessee is Dr. Robbie Melton, who's one of the state's preeminent thinkers on AI, and she's hosting an AI for All at TSU in the first week of June. I look forward to going to right across the street here. And Commissioner Lizette Reynolds as well from the Department of Education is on that panel with me. And about every other week we meet and convene and talk about instruction in AI from the committee that we're on, but it's hitting on K-12 policies and higher ed policies and practices too. So we'll have more developing in that in the next 15 months with the SRB.
Mayor Wharton, did you have any questions?
A quick observation, not necessarily a question. Tennessee was the first state to, we just passed the Elvis Act to keep folks from abusing artificial intelligence. I'd just like to hear some comment. It's not about what we can do by way of artificial intelligence, but what we should do. Where is that incorporated in our offerings?
So I can address that very quickly. One of the things about this new college is that it is interdisciplinary, and we will have a certificate in legal aspects of data and things like that, so that our students who may be interested in exactly those questions, policy questions, perhaps around the employment of AI, would have the ability to take that certificate and add it on. We don't want to extend their time though to degree.
Well, just want to be worthwhile.
Thank you.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
I'll remove my second.
Chairwoman Scarlett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett? Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
Motion carries. Presumption?
This is going to sound a little bit like what the other 2 degree programs sounded like, and it's because it's all under the same umbrella of this exciting new college that we are developing here. I think what I want to say most about this Bachelor of Science in Innovative Transdisciplinary Studies is that it will give our students the opportunity to do a customized degree program. And I think, Mr. Secretary, this might also be a way that we start thinking about more expedited pathways towards a credential here, because it will give us the flexibility. What I especially find exciting about this program is that it will enable our students to take what we're calling stackable certificates, put them together, and with the mentoring and advising of our staff and faculty in KEX and across the university, come up with a specific program of study that they may be interested in. So we've heard this morning about music, we've heard about public health. All of that is already sort of incorporated in here. We'll have a certificate in music and AI. We will have a certificate in medical AI. We'll have other certificates that our students can take those 9 to 12 hours, put them together and say, I want to go into the health field, but I don't want to be on the caring side. I want to be on the data side. I want to be on the artificial intelligence side, or I want to be in sustainability, but I don't want to be an environmental engineer, which you'll see next. So I think that the flexibility of this program really speaks to our young people, many of whom come to us with already very strong ideas about the mark that they want to make in their communities and in the world. And I think this gives them the opportunity to do that. I'm going to go quickly through this because it feels like I've been up here for a long time. So, again, we think that our students will come out of this, they'll have internships, they will hit the ground running, they will help the state of Tennessee be even better than it is now. Mayor Wharton, and I think that one of the great things about this, Mayor Wharton, is that they can also sort of decide that they'll have a certificate in music or in art and bring it together and raise the profile of the state as you suggested, Mr. Mayor Wharton. Here is the budget and enrollment figures. This is the only degree program that does not show and the P&L side does not show a profitable margin after year 5. We think it will have a slower build, but we think that once it catches on, we have no doubts that it will be sustainable and will be able to pay for itself.
Any questions?
Well, I think he very wisely said after 2 successful presentations, this one looks like the other 2. So I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay.
Chairwoman Scarlett,
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton,
Aye.
Secretary Hargit. Chairwoman, you have 3 ayes.
To note before you move forward, these past few that you've presented so far, it looks like it went to the governing board at the end of February, beginning of March for approval, and now it's sitting at our table. And so I applaud the work that UT and also the THEC team has done to expedite this sort of work.
Thanks, Chairwoman. I again want to give a real shout out to both the system guidance and to our dear friends at THEC. They are highly valued. Thank you. Last, environmental engineering, Tickle College of Engineering. This is a different kind of program. This will be a traditional 128 credit hour engineering program. Right now, we have a Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. You can major in civil and environmental engineering, you can major in civil engineering with a focus or specialty area in environmental or water resources. What this does is pulls that out and makes it a freestanding, independent degree program. There are a couple of reasons that we think it's timely to do this. One, environmental issues continue to absorb our attention and continue to need people to work in it. When I presented this to the University of Tennessee Board of Trustees, one of the trustees came up afterwards and said to me, this is a program that he could use in his business because of all of the compliance issues that he faces. I think I don't want to say too much about the trustee, but the engineers who come out of this will be able to work with environmental standards and will also be able to work in things like remediation of sites that have contamination. You can see here that there's a lot of support from our corporate partners, that there are lots of jobs available, that the starting salary is high, that there's interest among our students. One of the interesting things about this, and I know it's in your materials, is that environmental engineering tends to attract underrepresented populations, women and other underrepresented populations, at a higher rate than, say, civil engineering. So we think that this is also a way of increasing our STEM graduates by getting more of them to come into an area that's attractive to them. And there you see the rather staggering P&L. It will be a very popular program, and much like my colleague at Tennessee Tech, it's because we will rely on faculty that we already have in civil and environmental engineering. This will create some new courses for the environmental part, but by and large, not a lot of additional resources will be necessary. Thank you.
Any questions? Mayor Wharton?
No questions. I move approval.
I'll second it. Looks like Mr. Secretary might have a question.
I got lots of questions. but not for today.
Chairwoman Scarlett.
Aye.
Commissioner Ward.
Aye.
Secretary Hargit.
Uh,
Chairwoman Yu. 3 ayes.
Motion carries. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
So our final agenda item is other business. Does anyone have any other business for us to discuss?
Chairman Scarlett, I'll just add, going back to Secretary Hardy's question from earlier, I heard from Paige Elliott, our Senior Director of Research and Strategy. When it comes to out-of-state enrollment, it is University of Memphis that has the highest application. TSU is right about the average.
at the graduate level.
The graduate level, yes, sir. ETSU, the UT Knoxville, with UT Space Institute, as well as University of Memphis. And second, I just want to take a moment to thank and appreciate our academic affairs team as well as institutions as well. But behind the scenes, we had 8 academic programs. We typically have a July commission meeting, but next one's going to be in August, and I knew that we would not be able to get these programs setting up for August in time, so I pushed our team to get as much as we can get done this time, without having a special call meeting for our commissioners, so thank you. In addition to that, we have said goodbye to 2 of our academic program directors as they've gone on to TBR and Columbia State for really good positions, really held off on hiring more until we got through legislative session. And so this has all fallen on Katie Brackett's shoulders. She's still here, thank you. I checked in with her every week to say, you still with us, we're good? Thank you. And so I just want to appreciate her and Julie for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, no other business, we are adjourned.
I'll say.
Congratulations. Lunch. They didn't announce the most important part in F, which is right across the hall. So please stay for lunch. Congratulations. Okay, well, you can return to email.
There was no signature on me.
Yes. I don't really say by your shirt. Yeah. But that might be something we should look into. Thank you so much. Yeah, hey, lunch is an app, if anyone wants lunch. Thank you. Thanks for our social. Come back anytime. No, I was having an area. Let you have lunch.
Only for approval.
Yeah, if you did get it approved,